Grayson report. Happy Thursday. How is everyone doing? What is up with these pop-ups on my computer? Sorry. I'm a bit late. I got out of work late, plus there traffic because there was a big accident early this morning on the major freeway here. And it's still backed up. I guess it was two big rigs that were in an accident with a fatality. So when I was driving to work, I saw the traffic backed up going the opposite direction. So when I was coming home from work, I was hitting it, but I Googled mapped because I knew that there was going to be traffic to find the quickest route, but it still took me 30 minutes or so to get home, which is crazy. So I do apologize. D Nice, what is up? Matthew, Windy Corn. Carol, Delia Lux, Denny Rose, Lisa Boo, Julissa, Bernadette in the house. Dusty. Tammy. Emily Parkinson. What is up? Did anyone do anything interesting? We'll wait a few minutes before I get into the nitty gritty. The Monkey is finally hitting theaters. Tomorrow, actually probably tonight. It's it's gotten rave reviews already. It's by director Osgood Perkins. He also directed Long Legs, which was a hit. I have still yet to see it. It is on Hulu currently if you guys have it and have not seen it. Long Legs is the movie where Nicolas Cage plays a serial killer. It is on Hulu currently, so if you guys have it, check it out. It is on my list. The Monkey, it does come out tomorrow. It has Theo James. If you're familiar with Theo James, he was in the Divergent Theory series. It is from a Stephen King short story. And it looks good, so it is on my list. Nosferatu is also out on, I believe, VOD, but it does have a streaming date coming out on Peacock for anyone that has Peacock. I don't think a lot of people have Peacock. I feel like Peacock is like the ugly duckling. Oh. Says tomorrow. With it's an extended cut, so that you've never before seen extended cut on Peacock tomorrow. I do have a physical copy of it. I just have not watched it yet. I haven't gotten a chance. Denny Rose goes, I think we can't get Peacock and Cat. I feel like I said earlier, I feel like that's the ugly stepchild of the ones. That's like the one that a lot of people don't have, I feel. Bernadette goes, oh my God, you need to see Long Legs. You loved it. I know it is on my list. I just have not gotten to it yet. There's also a Gabby Petito documentary on Netflix, which I haven't gotten to. I'm trying to catch up on all my Max ones. Nerd Report in the house. Nerd Report says support Lisa. I know there's other movies that are coming out, but they were like obscure sounding ones, so I don't want to mention them. I felt like they're like B movies kind of that I've never heard of. Michelle, what is up? So, who has heard? I know I spoke loosely about um the Hat Man in a previous stream, but how many of you have heard of the Hat Man? And as always, guys, Skeleduck is in this background somewhere. I had to hide him quick. He is in this background. If you guys don't know what I'm talking about, he is pictured in my upper left-hand corner, might be your upper right-hand corner. That is what he looks like. It is not the one that is on the other side of my mic stick or sticking out. That is not him. That is his older brother. That's his brother that goes to the gym. He goes to Gold's, and he gets his pump on. But Skeleduck is somewhere in this background. Just remind me by the end of the stream, and I will reveal his location. Delay Lex goes, I haven't heard of him. Nerd Report's asking who's going to be the first super chat. I think I spoke about him during paralysis because they were saying sleep paralysis can cause you to think that I think he's associated to sleep paralysis, and I think that's where, because I had spoke about sleep paralysis, and I think that's where I mentioned him, but I never really gone in depth. I've also heard of him, because I do sometimes. I haven't watched him in a while, but I would watch Slapped Ham, and he had mentioned him. But the Hat Man, as with all things spooky, the Hat Man, the mysterious shadow person who lurks in the dark corners of his victims' bedrooms. Sightings of a featureless, and I think I've also, before I get into it, I've also seen people who've had photos and they post it, but I kind of take photos or videos with a grain of salt nowadays because of technology. But I've seen photos where people, or I think it's more of a video where people are panning through their house and they see like a shadow of somebody in a hat, and they want to say it's a Hat Man, but like I said, I take those things with a grain of salt. It's too hard for me to believe in those because of technology and too many people wanting to get views and be famous. Bernadette, thank you for being a member of the Wolf Pack for 22 months. Hearts for Bernadette. I also have, hold on. Buy me a coffee. I should have had this ready. I am so not ready today because I rushed to get over here. And of course now I can't find it. Delay Lex goes, oh no, I can't believe this isn't a movie. I don't think they made a movie, Delay Lex, but you never know because there's some. I didn't think they had a horror movie of Alice in Wonderland besides the video game, but if you go to Tubi, there is one. And the Pooniverse is planning to bring one in too as well. Denny Rose, thank you for that super sticker. Yeah, super sticker. Hearts for Denny Rose, thank you. Project Metal Music A up. What is up? Here, I know where the link is. But it would be a cool movie, but knowing how they make movies nowadays, it's kind of I don't know, I feel like they would probably mess it up in a way, but you never know. Because they probably would make it like jump scares and all that kind of stuff. Like the jump scare, not like I don't mind if they do like a nice jump scare, but if access denied on my when you try to get something that is your actual account and then it says access denied. Also, too, I have a buy me a coffee. If you guys want to buy me a coffee, I've dropped it in the link, which kind of goes with what I say. If you guys would like to buy me a coffee, there is the link. You know, I love coffee. I drink coffee all day long. Actually, I make my own coffee, to be honest with you. Because Nerd Report, thank you for gifting 5 memberships. Welcome, Mr. Spock, L, Fig, Deidre, Nikolai, Jet Baby Teeth, Neptune, and the Karen Show. Hearts to Nerd Report and the new Wolfpack members. Thank you, Nerd Report. So, sightings of a featureless shadow figure in a wide brim hat known as the Hat Man have been linked to sleep paralysis and the overuse of Benadryl. I I mean Benadryl doesn't work for me. So I don't tend to take Benadryl. Plus Benadryl makes me really sleepy. So I kind of stay away from it. I'm more of a Allegra girl. But I've taken a lot of Benadryl and never had that issue. But those who have seen the eerie entity think he may be something much more menacing. If you spend enough time on the internet, you've bound to come across any number of strange stories. Online forums have spawned a new wave of urban legends ranging from Slenderman to the ever-evolving lore of the SCP Foundation. But among these terrifying tales, one entity keeps coming up, a shadow person known as the Hat Man. Unlike his fellow internet counterparts, however, the Hat Man may actually be real, or at least he might not just be the stuff of virtual legend. Countless threads on internet forums have asked the same question. Has anyone else seen the Hat Man? What many considered to be a one-off isolated event has turned out to be a widespread phenomenon of people across the world experiencing similar incidents. Nerd Report's asking who's matching me. Hat Man witnesses all report seeing the same thing, a shadow being whose features are completely obscured except for the presence of a large, wide brim hat. Generally, the experience aligns with instances of sleep paralysis, but many have found the similarities of the sightings eerie to say the least. Of course, there are scientific explanations for the phenomenon, though some would argue that the Hat Man is something far darker. Matthew goes like the one in Buffy that attacked the sick kids. I didn't really watch Buffy. I wasn't really a fan of Buffy. I think I wasn't a fan, but I was like a casual watcher, so I would come in every once in a while to watch it. Delalux goes maybe in your mind with you as the Hat Man. Dun dun dun. The Hat Man is a mysterious figure who has been seen by people across the globe, often during episodes of sleep paralysis, a state when one is conscious but unable to move upon waking. Since scientific times, since ancient times, people have seen shapes and odd figures during bouts of sleep paralysis. Often they report a feeling of someone pressing down on their chest, sometimes claiming that an alien or goblin like creature is holding them down or sitting atop them. It was once even believed that demons were responsible for the sensation. I've had this happen to me once. I did not consider it sleep paralysis though, but I guess that's what it is. I've had this once. I was in a deep sleep. I was having a nightmare. I think something was chasing me because I usually have a dream where someone's chasing me, and something was holding me down, and I could see, and I was kind of in between consciousness and sleepless state, and it was like I was kind of awake, but I wasn't, and it was like someone was holding me down, and I couldn't get up, and then I finally just woke up. Sometimes I scream. I've had that happen. Sorry about that, guys. But have any of you guys had an experience where that had happened? But it was kind of like I woke up and I was like, "What the heck was I dreaming?" I've had a few of those. I've had where zombies were chasing me, and I was like, "Why am I dreaming about zombies chasing me?" However, the Hat Man doesn't touch his victims, typically described as a tall, shadowy humanoid, donning a wide brim hat and sometimes a long coat. kind of like a what, maybe like a vintage dress man in England, I want to say. That kind of what the description is. The Hat Man is simply associated with intense feelings of fear and dread. While the phenomenon has gained traction online in recent years, sightings of the entity have been recorded since at least 2001. Lisa Boo has had bad dreams a lot. Julissa goes, "That's so scary. It's happened to my husband." It is because you don't know, you're like half asleep and you really think you're still in the dream when you wake up, so it is scary. That year, a man named Timothy M. Brown Jr. launched the Hat Man Project, a site to research the phenomenon that has come to be known as the Hat Man. Brown writes, reports of the Hat Man and other shadow beings have been on the rise within the last several decades. It was due to my own experience with this being, as well as my awareness of other people's sightings of the Hat Man, that I decided to begin this research project. The site features a form for visitors to submit their own experiences with the Hat Man, all of which have a shadowy figure with a wide brim hat in common. As with anything on the internet, much of the mystery surrounding the Hat Man has been turned into a meme. But those who encounter the haunting shadow person are left unnerved. The remarkable similarities of their accounts has led to numerous theories about who the Hat Man is and why he appears. It kind of almost reminds me, if you guys have seen that movie Babadook, because the Babadook is kind of like a shadowy figure with a top hat. D Nice goes, "Well, I told you about when my ex's sister passed and I was babysitting her daughter. It could have been sleep paralysis, but it was a warm feeling of her saying thank you. It was a white light. She was honored in the Rose Parade of 2024 as one of the faces of the organ donor float." Oh, wow, cool. Denny Rhodes goes, "Dreaming about running away from the boogeyman and you run hard, but you're not moving no matter how hard you try." Oh, I've had that too, Denny. Joanne, how's it going? I think well, I haven't dreamt in a while, to be honest with you. It's been a while. Mr. Ruck Gaming, what is up? Why have so many people seen this shadowy entity? One of the prevailing theories about the Hat Man is that he is a type of shadow person, a paranormal being that appears in the peripheral of human vision. Shadow people are largely thought to be evil, although some see them more as guardian figures. The Hat Man's unique appearance is the primary factor behind the idea that he is an interdimensional shadow being. Humans have long been afraid of demons or aliens, but few people would cite a man in a hat as one of their top fears. I mean, if I woke up and I saw a man like a shadow, I can't see without my glasses anyway. So the way I describe my vision is if I'm walking in crowd, I can't see anybody's faces. So it's like I'm in a dream sequence in a horror film. So when so it'd probably be no different. At night I seem to see worse lately, but I I mean, I would think that would freak anybody out if you woke up and there was a shadow of a person standing in front of you. Any shadow, forget him having a hat, but any shadow, I can imagine you waking up and there's something standing in front of your bed staring at you with no features. Just just the hat, or if it happens to be the Hat Man or whatever shadow it is, that would freak the hell out of anybody. It would freak the hell out of me. I would probably think I wasn't seeing correctly because I didn't have my glasses on, but Denny Rose goes, "Flying, everything is dark, then you're endless falling. I really hate that dream." I haven't had one of those in a long time, but I've had one of those. I've experienced. Project Metal Music goes, "A ghost tried to choke my late partner back in the early 2000s. Found out it was the husband of the woman who lived at the house we lived in." Oh, crazy. Oh, that's a crazy yeah. If you guys are in my Discord, Matthew posted a picture, a creepy picture. Yeah, that could yes, a hat man. That I feel like that hat man though is more of a living hat man, not like the shadowy, mysterious, but that's still creepy too. Joanne said, I saw a shadow like that, thought it was my sister playing a prank. Oh, Denny goes in The Conjuring. There is the super thin, tall man with a hat. That one's creepy too. It's like they had, I think it's at Zach Bagan's museum in Vegas. Um, it was supposed to be, I forgot, was it Insidious or one of those? I don't remember which one. But it was supposed to be in one of those, but they ended up putting the nun in there. I like the nun. I like the look of the nun. I didn't like the movie, but I like the look of the nun. But the creature that they were supposed to use looked creepier than the nun. And I was like, they took that out for her. Not to say she looks creepy. The nun does look creepy. I just didn't like the movie. Like I like the character. Like she does look creepy as hell. But but I don't like those movies because of the jump scares. they're the jump it's too obvious when it comes to those movies. Joanne goes, I never found out if it was her. Wow. Matthew goes, he is invisible to everyone but to those who are sick. Wow. Okay, that is creepy. To try and understand where this imagery came from, forensic psychologist Catherine Ramsland sat down for an interview with paranormal expert Rose Mary Ellen Gully for a piece in Psychology Today in 2013. Gully, who had just published a book on jinn at the time, shape-shifting genies from Arabian mythology, also known as jinn. I still, even with the D, I still cut di or dijin, spoke of her own experience with shadowy people. I noticed that many cases of persistent negative hauntings involve shadow people, so I began probing for their true identity, Gully said. I discovered that many shadow people experiencers are also ET experiencers, especially abductees. Through a long process I conducted, that shadow people are shapeshifted from taken by jinn. The only time I heard of a jinn, I think I've heard it before, but the most recent was in the Witcher. Gully further explained that according to hotels, jinn often struggle to perfectly replicate the human form. They retain animalistic legs and feet that would expose them for what they truly were. Gully also speculated that shadow people wear hats and cowls to cover up imperfect heads. If the Hat Man is one of Gully's jinns, this could be an explanation for her wide brim hat. I think that's kind of far fetched. What do you guys think? Shadow people wear hats and cowls to cover up imperfect heads. I don't think so. I really don't think a spirit will put a hat on because their head is imperfect. I think that's the least of their worries. Of course, this explanation also requires a belief in jinn, and science has never proven they exist. However, there are some scientific reasons for why people see the Hat Man. The one from Wishmaster is I haven't seen Wishmaster in a while, but yeah, if you make wishes, but you also have to pay for it, type of thing. Denny Rose goes, I bought everything to do that costume and makeup. And Joanne was never able to bring it up with her sister to find out if it was her sister tricking her. Wow. To understand why people see the Hat Man, we must also understand how sleep paralysis works. Sleep paralysis is linked to the rapid eye movement stage of the sleep cycle. REM is the stage in which most people experience vivid dreams and atonia, a temporary form of paralysis that prevents dreamers from feeling about in their sleep. I think people still move though, regardless. Typically, when a person wakes up, both the dreaming and the atonia come to an end. This is not always the case though. When someone experiences sleep paralysis, their body is still unable to move, even though their brain is mostly awake, and they can experience vivid hallucinations. People who report seeing the Hat Man often say that he does not speak or attempt to touch them. Often he simply lurks in a corner of the room. Because of this, science attributes his appearance to sleep paralysis. As for why I feel like though when people also talk about shadow people, they really don't get touched by them too. So, I mean, it could go either way. As for why the specific imagery of the Hat Man is so commonplace, it's difficult to say with any certainty, why so many people share the same hallucination. 2 decades ago, when Brown started the Hetman Project, it seemed to be a very strange, uncommon image. However, in the years since, as more and more people became aware of the Hat Man, it makes sense that they began picturing him while experiencing sleep paralysis. Like Pennywise the Clown, Dracula, or Frankenstein's monster, the Hat Man has become a famous figure in his own right, instilling fear in people across the world. If you wake up in a panic, unable to move, why wouldn't your mind conjure up the image of that terrifying thing you read about online? Despite how scary the Hat Man is to many people, some thrill seekers have tried to intentionally summon him in their dreams. I don't know why you would want to summon anybody. I mean, I know you would summon things when you're doing a spell, but I don't know why anybody would summon the Hat Man because we don't exactly know what he is. He could be a demon, he could be an evil spirit. We do not know. I would not want to summon anything. Dean Nice, I agree with you. The Sixth Sense is a great movie depicting how ghosts look. I believe they look exactly like when they passed. And I do agree with you, D Nice. I feel that I feel that's the way too. And I've seen it in other movies besides The Sixth Sense, where like what is it? American Werewolf in London. His friend got was murdered by a werewolf, but they didn't know it was a werewolf at the time. And he was being haunted by his friend. And when they showed his friend had all, he was all tore up. So I feel like, yeah, I agree with you, D Nice, on that one. D Nice goes, the biker always gets me, even though I've seen it plenty of times. I think I'm probably with you. I'm with Carol. Like, if I'm not paying attention, he'd probably get me. And I haven't seen that movie in a long, 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 long time. So it'll probably get me. Actually, Bernadette, they have the Scat Man song. The Scat Man. Danny Rose goes, there's also the succubus that gives you sleep paralysis, but the succubus only goes after men. I agree, Joanne. I think you should know what you are summoning and be protected. I agree. But the Hat Man is so mysterious that I would not ever try to summon him. I would not, because I don't know what he is. I mean, yeah, it could be something, a production of that's created during sleep paralysis, but still, I do believe that there are shadow people. I do believe that there are spirits. So we don't know what he is. How Benadryl plays a role in shadow person sightings. And when I was younger, I used to take Benadryl because I did have a lot of allergies. When I was younger, too, I was severely allergic to cats. Not so much now. I still get affected every once and now and then, but it's not as bad as it was when I was a kid. So I guess I've kind of grown and an immune, or I don't know, kind of outgrew it, but I still have it. I've never had any issues of seeing shadow people when I was taking Benadryl, so I don't know about this one. Over the years, a common denominator has popped up again and again in stories about the Hat Man. Many of the people who have reported seeing the shadow being took medication containing diphenhydramine, which is the generic of Benadryl, before going to sleep the night he appeared to them. Diphenhydramine, or DPH, is the active ingredient in Benadryl. This purported connection became so widely circulated that it actually became dangerous. People started taking high doses of drugs containing diphenhydramine in hopes of seeing the Hat Man or other shadow people, and the posting trip reports to detail their experience. And I know some people take diphenhydramine or Benadryl to help them sleep because it causes adults, if I'm not mistaken, it for sure, I know it causes sleeplessness. Like it makes me fall asleep when I take it. But I think it's the opposite when kids take it. It gives them energy, if I'm not mistaken. To be clear, this could be highly unsafe. An NIH report highlighted some of the potential dangers of DPH, noting that it could lead to agitation, confusion, delirium, depression, drowsiness, hallucination, and seizures. DPH abuse is not the only way to see the Hat Man. However, it's not entirely clear what causes the mysterious entity to appear. But some people have reported seeing him after drinking caffeine or alcohol. Never had that issue. I drink coffee. I don't drink a lot of coffee. I try to keep it to a minimum, but I drink coffee. I have not seen him. And others have simply spotted him during a random incident of sleep paralysis. Like Bigfoot, until someone captures the Hat Man and proves his existence, it is safest to say he is nothing more than the result of a shared imagination and the power of storytelling. So, guys, do you believe the Hat Man actually exists, or do you think it's a figment of sleep paralysis or taking too much Benadryl, which I feel like it's not? But with the Benadryl thing, I feel like that's far fetched. Julianne, what is up? I saw a gnome or leprechaun. I took a few Benadryls. The walls and ceilings cracked. Denny Rose goes, Benadryl knocks me out. It knocks me out. That's why I don't tend to take it, because it doesn't get rid of my allergies. Joanne goes, I have a potato allergy that I didn't have before. Wow. Denny Rose, I agree. Shadow people hide in your peripheral view. They're quick to disappear. I've seen things in my house. I thought I saw a cat walk by, a black cat, and then I look and there's nothing there, like a shadow. Because I've had a black cat, but he passed away years ago. Also, Denny, also putting salt over your doorway also keeps evil out. Or if you're casting a spell, they use salt to cast their circle to of protection. Matthew goes, drink coffee but never Star Sucks. I actually got one the other day from Star Sucks. Yeah, because there's so many here. Like, I don't really have. I love Dutch Brothers, but Dutch Brothers is kind of Dutch Brothers coffee is kind of a bit of a drive, so I tend not to go unless I'm driving that way. But I had one from uh Starbucks, and it tasted watered down. And I was like, dude, I make better coffee than this. And I was kind of disappointed. D Nice goes, I'm a coffee bean girl, less sweet than Starbucks. Joanne goes, it sucks. I love fresh cut fries. Doesn't happen all the time, but when it does, it's brutal. Oh, that does suck, because I like fries. I think everybody likes fries. I like a good baked potato too. That does. Danny goes, yes, salt at the bottom of the door and the window seal too. I know they did that. The salt, speaking of the salt, they did do that in Skeleton Key, if you guys remember that movie. And I was like, oh my god, she's trying to keep the evil out. So I found this little article. I haven't seen the skeleton. That's another movie I have not seen in a very long time, Skeleton Key. But I love that movie. Oh, there's a price drop on the spirit box here. I like how it has ghost hunting equipment here as the ad. That's hilarious. So this Florida restaurant is America's most haunted, and here's the story behind it. Ghost stories about abound at Rock Ledge Eatery. However, this from its highways to its cemeteries, Florida has plenty of spooky tales to keep you up at night. However, the Central Florida Tavern isn't just the spookiest in the state, it's considered the most haunted restaurant in the country, according to research by Smoky Mountains. The study says that Ashley Tavern in Rockledge generates a lot of buzz online with over 800,000 search results dedicated to its mysterious hauntings. That kind of has a cool inside, too. While there are several ghost stories associated with Ashley's, the most popular is the tale of Ethel Allen, a 19-year-old woman who reportedly frequented the tavern in the 30s before she was murdered. The back of the restaurant's menu discusses the tale and the posthumous hauntings which have been reported throughout the building. Allen was last seen at the restaurant. Her body was mutilated and burned and left on the bank of the nearby Indian River. The menu reads, she was identified by the tattoo on her right thigh, a rose with a noose around it. No one was ever arrested or charged with her murder. This was in the 30s and she had a tattoo? Whoa. Not to say that women didn't have tattoos back then, but I don't think it was very common like it is now. Several news articles from 1934 showed that Allen was last seen with a man named William Billy Wilson, whom investigators suspected was responsible for the murder. No motive was ever confirmed, however, and detectives were unable to find them. Back then, the restaurant was known as Jack's Tavern, though its name changed several times over the years. The Loose Caboose, the Mad Duchess, and the Sparrow Hawk, to name a few, before settling on Ashley's Tavern in 1985. The Loose Caboose and the Mad Duchess sounds badass. I would have kept that. So here's a photograph of Ashley's Tavern, or at the time it was Jack's Tavern back in 1930. And the interior of it, it does have that 1930 feel to it. Legend has it that Ethel Allen still haunts the tavern. According to a Today newspaper article from 1982, former manager Judy Cowles was checking the women's restroom before leaving for the night. She saw a pair of legs clad in boots under one of the stalls, but when she checked it, she found that the stall was empty. I only saw them for a couple of seconds, but the reason I noticed them at all was because I'd never seen anybody wear those kinds of shoes before. Cowles was quoted in the article. The only other time I'd seen books like those or boots. I said books like those when it were in old pictures of people at the turn of the century. I was definitely curious. In addition, the water in the water basin will sometimes turn on unexpectedly, and a few people have seen an image of a young woman in the restroom mirror, restaurant officials claim. Just this year, two servers felt as though they were pushed while coming down the stairs. Also, random songs began playing while everything was turned off, and glasses on the bar have broken untouched. Tavern manager Victoria McGoughlin told News 6. I would not. Those look like death stairs. Holy crap, those stairs are steep. Yeah, I don't want to be pushed down those. Oh, hell no. Paranormal investigator Stephen Kurtzel, or Kurtzky, comes to the restaurant every Monday from 5:30 p.m. to 9 p.m. to discuss the legend with customers. He claims to have taken a picture of the ghost using specialized equipment. These images include a photo of a little girl in the upstairs portion of the restaurant and a thermal image of a tall woman in an old-time dress found in the hallway. You could barely see that picture. The thermal image could be anything. Aside from Ethel Allen, Kutsky said that there have been other ghost stories reported at the tavern. There's the spirit of a 7-year-old girl that's here, and she was last seen in 1940. She was here with her father, and he was being arrested, taken out of the building, and the little girl was wearing her favorite blue dress, Kurtzky said. It's a dress that goes all the way to the floor, ruffled at the bottom. Kurtzky explained that due to its background, the restaurant is actually a designated historic site. It's a very unique historical building because it changes hands over and over. They can't turn it into a movie theater or a Dollar Tree. It has to stay a restaurant. It is protected, he said. Other Today newspaper articles from 1982 catalog mysterious events at the restaurant, which went under Gentlemen's Gyms at the time. Gentlemen Gyms? These names. In an article from that year, a photographer said he snapped some picture of the restaurant for a story before realizing afterward that a subject in dark clothes had appeared in one. He wrote that he wouldn't go back in there for anything. I don't see anything in that picture. Several stories detail psychic-led investigations into the restaurant, eerie tales from local police who were called there, and another spirit nicknamed Sarah, who was accused of harassing the employees. One such story explains that two girls had rushed into the police station after entering the supposedly locked building, only to find a man bursting down the stairs, talking about having killed them all. After police went to check on the place, they found the door was unlocked, but with no trace of the man, and the manager had told them she locked the door herself, the story says. Despite all the legends, Michael Bonstra with the Brevard County Library Services told News 6 that there is no definitive proof of Ethel Allen having any association with the tavern, nor was she murdered there. The spookiest incident News 6 witnessed during a trip to the restaurant was when the whole building began shaking, though that was more than likely due to the Bright Line train passing by behind the building. Even if you don't believe the ghost stories, the restaurant is still a notable hangout for many of the locals, and it offers plenty of dishes for customers to enjoy, such as chicken sandwiches and Irish nachos. It looks like a cool place, like inside. Ooh, those look good. I mean, I guess they gave you the number for Kurtzky if you want to inquire about the paranormal. But that looks like a cool place to go. Daisy, what is up? Curious Potato, how's it going? I think there's something there. I think the legend is real. If there's a story, I believe there's something behind it. May not necessarily be what the story says, but I believe there's some truth to it. To any story, because um I feel like if somebody made a story or saw something, there's some truth to something to it. I know Valentine's Day was about a week ago, but I saw this cool article. I thought it was cool. I'd buy these chocolates. These morgue chocolates are made from molds of real cadaver wounds. Unlike Forrest Gump's famous platitude, life is like a box of chocolates. You know exactly what you're getting in this box, though you may not want to eat them. I don't think I will because those look cool. Filled with bonbons shaped like head wounds, diseased organs, burned flesh, and other fatal mutilations, the set gives new meaning to the term dark chocolate. For all you curious macabre enthusiasts, put your debit cards away because these candies aren't for public consumption. Darn. They are a project created by American artist Stephen J. Shannabrook, who in real life assisted his dad a coroner at work. Shannabrook also worked at a chocolate factory as a young adult. These two professions collided in 1995 when he started making molds of dead people's fatal injuries as conceptual art. That is interesting. According to the artist's website, the chocolate molds were made from impressions collected at morgues in both Russia and America. That is crazy. My work is a sculptural realization of lived experiences, thus responsible for its chaotic path. Shannabrook explains further on his website. I have times working in chocolate, cotton candy, or found plastic and everything in between. Work for me is about the process, the manipulation of a given material, and trading these materials a temporary guest in my hands. The drive for me has always been the sacred found object, an object with its own history given to me to mold into another narrative. Eventually, we realize that our own body and self is also found object given briefly, so we too can write our own story. So here's kind of close up of his art of different wounds that he's seen. That is crazy. And more disturbing installation, Shannabrook created an entire chocolate mold for a real S bomber in a disemboweled repose. We will place a link to a video of that piece here, but it might be too disturbing for some videos. I am not going to click on it because it's going to shut me down. But I can imagine, just imagine, yeah, I make art out of severed body parts that I've seen. That's a conversation starter for sure. I'd be like, "What? Excuse me?" Like you have to have a demented mind to see the artistic quality of that. I don't know. I mean, it sounds cool. Don't get me wrong. It sounds cool. It sounds cool, but I don't know. I don't know. That's like I, I don't know. Yeah, I make I'm an artist and I don't know. It's crazy. DJ Night goes, it's disturbing. Yeah, it is. That's disturbing. I mean, I get it. The guy has a background because his dad worked in the coroner. He also had a chocolate, he worked at a chocolate factory. He just collided both of them together, but I don't think I would. I mean, I know they make makeup pieces of scars and stuff, but I don't think they make makeup pieces of severed, like a severed. I mean, for Halloween costumes, I'm talking about. I get for the movies they do, obviously, but yeah, yeah. Daisy goes, I really hope they didn't use real life wounds and their claims are just for the hype. Imagine eating somebody's loved one's wounds. Shoot, what if it was your own loved one? I know that it's like, I mean, it's only art. It's not like real chocolates. It's like his art project, I guess you could say, but Curious Potato goes, life is like a box of body parts. Like in this case, yeah, it's crazy. Joanne, yes, some people go all out for Halloween. They do. There's some people that start decorating in August. They go crazy. No, don't get me wrong. I love Halloween, but I'm just not the decorative type because I'm thinking I got to take all of that down. If I put something up, it stays up all year round. So like the lawn, like decking out I mean, I like looking at it, but I think of trying to tear all of that down and putting it up. There's like um takes time. There's also Cobra Kai. If you guys haven't caught the final season of Cobra Kai, I finally got to see it. It was amazing. I'm sad that it's over. Joanne goes, the decorations around are quite innovative. They are. Curious Potato, definitely people go crazy decorating at Halloween. They do. They do at Christmas time too. Believe it or not. There's still some houses that still have their lights up in my neighborhood. I like lights, but there's a city ordinance. I don't know if I mean, I guess they do. There's someone that goes around citing people for having Christmas lights on past the time. And people get mad. They're like, I'm getting dinged for this when there's my neighbor over there has trash hanging, like piles of trash in front of their yard, but they don't say anything about it, which I get. I understand. That would piss me off. I don't wanna read Curious Potatoes comment just in case people haven't seen it. I actually finished it right on time because that was when all the spoilers were coming up on social media. I had a few before I watched it, but then right after I finished it, that's when that the next day, like everything was popping up, and I was like, "Oh, I watched it right on time." That's the only thing that sucks. Like, if you don't get to it right away, you're gonna run into it, and it's like I don't want to be spoiled. Daisy goes, I'm one of those that keep their Xmas lights all year round, but only the ones on my rooftop, but I don't turn them on after New Year's. There's some people that keep them on though. But they actually look nice because they're like the white ones. So I mean, it kind of accentuates their houses. So I don't see anything wrong with it. All right, guys, I am going to open it up for questions. If you guys have any questions, feel free to ask. Curious Potato goes, what have I found spooky recently? I found out because I've been having some strange occurrences in here, but I thought it was a bug. I go, it has to be a bug. I found out there's a mouse in here because he was walking. If you see my posters back there, he was walking on top of him, and I caught him on camera, and I was like, "Son of a monkey!" I didn't catch him. I have one of those humane traps out, but that was one of the things because I kept seeing like I would see whiskers, but I assumed I was like, "What the hell would cause that?" But I didn't know it was whiskers at the time. But it looked like, intent like, legs from a bug, so I assumed it was a bug, but it was a danging mouse. So I have one in here somewhere. I put a trap, like, right it's, on the counter right behind me, but I don't think that's the right place to put it because I haven't caught anything. I have a cat, DJ Knight, but he doesn't chase mice, apparently. Some cats don't, believe it or not. Oh, that's pretty cool, Daisy. I'm starting to see a lot of people keeping their lights on along the roofs and change the color depending on the holiday. Example, for the inauguration, my neighbors had them red, white, and blue. Super cool. Julissa, thank you for being a member of the Wolf Pack for 22 months. Oh no, Lisa's cats needs to come. Lewis's cats need to visit, or I could borrow one from work. Jen, what's up? I'll give you guys a few minutes to find Skeleduck. Thank you, Matthew, for reminding me. I assumed, like I said, I assumed it was a bug, a big bug. I was thinking it was like a roach or something, but no, it's a mouse. Curious Potato goes, cats can actually bring mice in. Not all cats are mice hunters, believe it or not. It's like mice don't necessarily go after cheese because I've put cheese on traps and nothing. But as soon as I put peanut butter, boom, I get one. Joanne goes, stuff still wool in areas where mice might come in, like under the sink. I also put crushed cloves and clove oil in corners of cupboards. Well, it's in here, so he probably came underneath the door here because there is like a gap in between the door and the flooring. DJ Deco's remember Tom and Jerry. And I do have a big hill behind me, so it's probably most likely from there. Curious Potato goes, I knew someone whose cat would bring mice into his flat, mess about them, then let them go. Yes, they do that too. They'll bring them to you. Very true, Curious. Yeah, they do. They're like, look, mom, look at what I have. And there's a mouse in their mouth. I've never had that happen, but I've seen pictures of people like they'll take a picture. Look at what my cat brought me this morning. Like it's a dead, like bird or something. No, it was a mouse because I caught it on the camera behind me. No rats. I did one year had rats though. I did have rats one year, but that was because um uh before when you go on the other side of the hill now there's warehouses, but before it used to just be hill, right? And then there was a road that went through that connected um my city to another city. But when they started building the warehouse, it's a FedEx warehouse. Not too close, but it's like over if I went on the top of the hill, I'd probably be able to see it. That's when all the rats and everything came this way because they were losing their home. And that's the year I had a crap load of rats, and I will not forget it. I found like 11 of them in my room. I was like, "What?" And I did the mistake of poison, which I'm never going to do again, and they ended up dying in my room. So in my closet, put it that way, and I started smelling them. So I remember I was like, okay, I'm taking a day off of work. I have to figure out what this is, right? I know it's something dead because that smell just doesn't, you know, death when you smell it. And I started counting. I was like, one, two. I was like, they even had babies in my closet. I was like, never again. I know that, Matthew. I made that mistake that one year. Never use poison when you have cats and other pets that get to them. I don't do that anymore. I do know that now. At the time, I didn't. Daisy goes, when a cat brings you a mice, etc., it's a gesture of love. Believe it or not, I've been researching because I just got myself my first cat last summer. Oh, yeah, they do. They bring you gifts. I mean, it's sad. It's not their fault. I love rats. I've had pet rats. I just don't want wild ones because you don't know what diseases or anything they're carrying. But I've had pet rats and I've loved them. They just didn't last too long because I guess if you get them from a breeder, or what I've read, if you get them from a breeder, well, I got them from the pet store. I didn't get them from a breeder. And they're prone when you do it that way is what I read. I don't know how they're prone to respiratory infections. I mean, I like the mice too, but they're outside. I don't know what they have. I've had pet mice too. All right, guys, Skeleduck is right there, right where my finger's pointing. It's on um my left hand side of the screen. It's on my right side actually. So it's probably on your right side. It's on my left hand side when I'm looking at it, but it probably flipped. But it is this is my right hand, so it is on my right hand side. So it's probably on your right hand side. So there he is. That's his nose. He kind of blends in with my skeleton. I kind of had to hide him quick, but then I realized, oh, he blends. So wasn't that bad of a hiding spot, I guess. But right where my finger is, right sticking out on the other side of the pumpkin. Carol goes, he's playing a good hip bone. Yes, he is. Lisa Boot, no way. Pet rats are illegal in Alberta? That is crazy. I mean, I guess it's the same as ferrets being illegal here in California. So I mean, same thing. Curious Potato goes, I wouldn't want a pet rat, but they're quite intelligent. They train rats to find um people in building in rubble. So yeah. Delay Lex goes, he was skeleducking away. Daisy goes, looks like the skeleton had a ding dong. Ah! There I go again, putting him in a place where I didn't realize it. Matthew goes, maybe so people don't leave them out and go to any places with horses because they will get in horse food. Ferrets are cool. They're just illegal here. All right, guys, any last minute questions before I end this stream? DJ Knight, what if you were wanting an exterminator? I mean, an exterminator would help. But if I could catch them myself, I don't think I need an exterminator. I'm like the one that I'll try to do it myself. I'm the go-getter. If I could do it myself, I'll try to do it myself. If I can't, then I'll go ahead and do it. All right, guys. Thank you, Lisa Boo. Thank you, Delia Lux. Thank you, Joanne. Okay, guys, I am going to end this edition of Grayson Report. I will see you on the next one. Stay spooky, sweet nightmares, and have a great weekend. Good night, guys. I'll see you on the next one. Thank you, guys.